Hello everyone, as you already know, the show for MLP G5 has finally come out. So here's my quick review on a few things so far. Also quick spoiler warning cause I might spoil a few things. So far I think the show doesn't look that bad. There are moments I liked and some moments I didn't like, but I do think it's an improvement from the special. A lot of the characters have improved from last time and some not so much. I do like some of the simpler stories of the episodes, but it can feel a little messy when there are other side plots happening. But I do like some of the side plots like these with the villains, but I can see some problems in it in some episodes. Like probably one of my favorite episodes is probably episode 3. It was a simple episode that also adds a bit of development for our characters. I also like the last few episodes that give us more development for our character Misty, but I can still see some problems in these episodes, which I will discuss later. One other thing that mainly bothers me about the plot itself is nothing much is happening from progress in the main story. Like I do like that they are building something up for the story. Like so far for 8 episodes, nothing much has happened to bring our characters forward in the main plot. Like our villain has an evil plan, she fails it, and then wants to start with another evil plan in the next episodes. While the main characters and us have learned just a little bit more about magic and the history of Equestria, but not much, and even then sometimes it's not well explained. Like there are a lot of questions that people want to have answered, but even if some of those questions get answered, they raise more questions. I myself am fine with it as long the questions get answered in the future, but yeah, I do understand why some people want their questions to be answered earlier rather than dragging it and just answering a few questions in a few episodes, making the main story much more longer than it should have. It's like miraculous all over again. So yeah, I hope they will drive the plot more forward in the future. Also, I do want to see more in the future, like locations. We haven't seen much of Bridlewood or Sapphire Heights, just little glimpses most of the time. Like we spend most of the time in Maritime Bay and just a little bit in Opaline's castle. So yeah, I would like to see more locations in the future. Also with the questions about the G5 lore, a lot of the times when magic stuff is happening, it creates a lot of questions. And then there are some G4 stuff that get kinda answered, but even if they are, like I said, they raise more questions than answers. I will talk more about it later. There's one thing though that I like that they are talking more about are the cutie marks. Like so far from all the medias we so far have, cutie marks were usually just ignored, even though they play a big part in G4's lore. So it's good to see them talk more about it in the show. Also for Earth Pony magic, I still don't like it, but I don't dislike it as much as I used to. But I still don't like that the writers try to make Earth Ponies more special by giving them some sort of OP magic. But there are some ideas I found kinda interesting, like creating hybrid fruits. Now to the animation. Like I said in my trailer thoughts video, I think it has majorly improved from the special. The lighting and shadowing is much better and the texturing as well. The characters' movement is much more fluid and they have much more expressions. There are some animation errors, but in the most part the animation looks decent. It looks like how a 3D show should look like. Now to the characters. Sunny is still kinda the same as she was in Tell Your Tale, so I hope they expand her character a bit more in the next episodes. Hitch himself is also a little mixed. He had a very interesting development in episode 2 with Earth Pony magic and trying to keep responsibility and safety in Maritime Bay, but then he also behaves a little bit weird as a father character to Sparky. We will go back to Sparky later, but yeah, Hitch is a bit of an alright character besides from episode 2. As for Sip and Pip, we see them grow more together as sisters, which I really like. Like they are a lot better in the show than in the movie. So yeah, 2 of the better characters in the show. And for Izzy, she does have improved herself from the short series and the special, cause back then she was way too energized and too random, trying way too hard to be another Pinkie Pie. But in the show she feels much more closer to the movie Izzy again. She feels a lot more controlled now. But yeah, she's still a little bit more overly energized from the movie, but hey, it's an improvement from last time. Also, one strange thing about her that I noticed is she can self-levitate in one scene, which is weird cause in G4 it was used by very specific unicorns, usually very high skilled ones. So yeah, I don't know if Izzy can do this cause she is highly skilled, which she's definitely not, or maybe in G5 self-levitation is a kind of magic that can only be used by specifically talented unicorns, but don't know if they will ever answer that question. But having Twilight say magic is stronger than ever kinda doesn't help. And now we head to Sparky, which you probably already know already. I hate this dragon. I don't hate him as much as I used to, but yeah, I still don't like him. I don't like his design, his voice. His voice is very disturbing. He does come as very annoying, but sometimes a little funny in some moments. And a lot about his appearance in chapter 1 made a lot of questions. And in the show, there are a lot of more questions now. Mainly about his magic system, cause I have no idea how it works. As you're probably already aware, dragons in G4 can mostly just breathe regular fire, besides Spike who can also send letters with his firepower. But with Sparky, he can turn items into food or whatever item he wants, which would make sense for me if he can swap items with his firepower, because of one scene where he swapped 2 cutie marks on accident with his breath, which again is very overpowered. And we also learned that his flame can make an alicorn's power stronger, which makes me wonder what kind of dragon he exactly is, cause his powers are very overpowered and very confusing. But yeah, don't like Sparky. Pretty much is a Bibble dragon. Bet you can't get that out of your head. And now to our 2 antagonist characters. First, let's talk about Misty. I think Misty is a very interesting character. I do like her own adventure on Maritime Bay. It's investing but also kinda entertaining. I like her interactions with our characters, and I do feel sorry for her whenever she fails a task, cause every time she does, Opaline gets mad at her and sees her as worthless. Which, by the way, we learned that one of the reasons why Misty wants to help Opaline is cause Opaline saved her as a filly, which I do want to see of how and such. And also we found out she grew up without having a cutie mark yet, and she wants to help Opaline to hopefully get one. Kinda an odd idea for some cause they do want to know of why, but I do think it's a very interesting idea. And I do also like her development in each episode. Like, I noticed that in each episode she gets closer and closer to our main characters. So I'm looking very forward if she's gonna join the main 5. Cause yeah, I really like Misty's character and want to see her grow more in each episode. And now we have Opaline. Besides from her design, there's nothing much I can say from her personality either, cause she does so far just seem to be some evil alicorn who wants to rule the world with fear, and nothing much deep in it besides that. Her relationship with Misty and G4 are some of the only interesting things about her, and even that isn't that well done either, cause I do want to have a deeper relationship between her and Misty, cause it does look like she doesn't care about her and is just using her. So I do figure that would have been more interesting. And for the backstory stuff, it's also not that well explained, cause like I said, she doesn't really have a deeper motive. At least that seems like it so far. Also, I hope she gets more progress in the next episodes, cause if everything just ends up the same, it will just feel very repetitive and tiring, and she will just become the next Hawkmoth. As for a few other characters, Sprout is back, but really not that much. He was just there for just a few moments, and doesn't have much to do with the plot either, so I hope we see him more in the next episodes, to have a better wall. Green Haven is back, same as always. Still no sign yet of Alphabiddle or Phyllis. The Peepsqueaks are alright, and yeah. And also Twilight is back, which definitely is the most talked about topic, and she looks very weird. I don't know what it is, but something about her feels so uncanny and disturbing to me. But yeah, she's back as a hologram message from the past. Speaking of the past, we got to learn more of how G4 fell in 2 different story versions. Interesting at first, but yeah, it's kinda not so well explained in a unsatisfying way. And lastly, let's quickly talk about the songs. When hearing the songs before the show came out, I do think they are very catchy and well sung, but nothing much meaningful or a message was in there, which makes me wonder in what part of the story they could be. And they're also pretty short, and in the show they got cut much more shorter. And I'm kinda disappointed of how some of the songs are added into the episodes, like Where'd It Go, which was a pretty catchy song and was about searching something missing, was added just after the specific item got found. Another song that I felt let down from is Pony Love. The song itself sounded interesting for an episode, talking about the past love life of someone, specifically Queen Haven. But sadly, it was used as a distraction song. And again, it got cut short, cutting from one scene to another. So yeah, I'm kinda disappointed in that. But yeah, that's so far what I can say so far for the first 8 episodes. Remember, this is all just my personal opinion, so it's fine to disagree. And I do understand why some people either hated it or loved it. As for me personally, I did enjoy it and I don't think it's that bad, but I do have my worries for it. Cause I do think if the next 8 episodes will be exactly the same as the first 8, this could end up pretty bad. But I also have hopes for upcoming potential. Or maybe I'm just being too naive. Anyways, that's it for the video and see y'all next time. Auf Wiedersehen.